final regular season standings in the NHL's Adams division vividly reflect the year the Montreal Canadiens endured. They fired their coach for the second time in 6 months. They finished under 500 for the first time since 1951. They made trades that didn't make much improvement or much sense. And they said things that were very un-Canadian. But something happened in the playoffs. They went to Boston and swept the shocked first-place Bruins. Then they went to Quebec, and in 5 games have so far shocked their bitter provincial rivals. The major reason for the drastic turnaround has been a gift from above. More precisely, a penny from heaven. Steve Penny is a 23-year-old native of Quebec who has been money in the bank for Montreal. His meteoric rise to stardom has reminded many of the Montreal faithful of another rookie who 13 years ago came from nowhere to lead the Canadiens to a Stanley Cup. From the famed Forum in Montreal, it's Game 6 of the Adams Division Finals. As Montreal tries to end it and Quebec tries to extend it, next on USA Sports. Tonight's Stanley Cup playoff game is brought to you by Mobile Detergent Gasoline, power for your everyday driving needs. By Toyota Trucks, there's a whole new generation of Toyota trucks for 1984. By Levi's, jeans, cords, and shirts for quality and style you can count on. And by the Stroh Brewery Company, brewers of Stroh's, Old Milwaukee, and other fine beers. It's certainly been an easy year not to believe in the Montreal Canadiens. After all, many times during their frustrating regular season, they did not believe in themselves. I was one of the disbelievers. Even after they swept by the Boston Bruins, I wasn't sure this team was for real. And on Monday night when they lost to the Quebec Nordiques in overtime to allow the Nordiques to even the series, I still did not believe. But off they went to Quebec in Le Colisée in Quebec City, and they shut out the high-scoring Quebec Nordiques. I have to say that now I believe. What have they done? Well, they've only limited Peter Stastny and Michel Goulet, 2 of the league's top snipers, to a goal apiece. And in the 22 power play opportunities that the Quebec Nordiques have had, they've only allowed the Nordiques 1 goal. And so now tonight, in front of a sold-out Forum, they can eliminate the high-scoring Quebec Nordiques. I'm Al Troutwig, along with a very talented duo here at the Montreal Forum, and I still get excited when I look up at the rafters in this great building and I see Stanley Cup banners, 21 of them. And as I look up at the rafters as well tonight, I see Al Albert and Gary Green.
Thank you, Alan. And Montreal's victory against Quebec Wednesday proved that it is no mirage, as the Canadiens showed tremendous character. They rebounded from the 4-3 overtime loss at the hands of Quebec. In that game, it appeared as if the Nordiques had geared up their potent offense. But they go back to Quebec, and Steve Penny throws the first ever shutout at the Nordiques in the playoffs, and he does it in Quebec. Montreal claims that with all the additions to the rosters late in the season, that this is not the same club that finished 5 games under the 500 mark. And right now they would get no arguments from the Boston Bruins and the Quebec Nordiques. Gary Green?
The management of the Quebec Nordiques will find out a great deal about their hockey club tonight, as you usually do when your backs are up against the wall. So far in this series, they have had more shots on net. They have had more hits. They have won more face-offs, but yet still trail the series 3-2. Michel Bergeron says he has to get the first goal of the game, or the first power play goal of the game, from his 2 leading scorers, Michel Goulet and Peter Stastny, who have been blanked so far in this series. We do know one thing about tonight. before it happens, and that is this city of Montreal will go absolutely wild if their Canadians win the Battle of Quebec.
As you can hear, the adrenaline has begun to pump through the veins of these fans at an alarming rate. It is the second night in a row the Forum has been sold out. Last night it was a Van Halen concert. But Van Halen doesn't have more than 70 years of tradition, nor 21 Stanley Cups. The Quebec Nordiques have been climbing the Adams Division ladder all season long. But now, without their balance, they may fall off.